Most people think mistakes automatically make them wiser. But the truth is, some people can repeat the same mistake for 10 years and learn absolutely nothing from it. Think about that for a moment. We often hear that experience is the best teacher. Yet all around us, we see people making the same bad decisions again and again. They choose the wrong partner. They spend money they don't have. They start projects and never finish them. And after every failure, they promise themselves that next time will be different. But somehow, it isn't. The surprising thing is that making mistakes is not what helps you grow. Learning from mistakes helps you grow. And those are two very different things. If you've ever wondered why you keep facing the same problems, or why some people seem to improve quickly while others stay stuck for years, today's episode is for you. Mistakes are part of life. Nobody escapes them. You make them. I make them. Every successful person you admire has made hundreds, maybe thousands, of mistakes. The real question is what happens after the mistake. Many people believe learning is automatic. They think that if something goes wrong, the lesson will naturally appear. But that's not how the human mind works. In fact, our brains are surprisingly good at protecting us from uncomfortable truths. Imagine you fail an important exam. One reaction is to ask, "What did I do wrong?" Another reaction is to say, "The exam was unfair." Sometimes the exam really is unfair. But if that becomes your answer every time, you never improve. You protect your ego, but you lose the lesson. And that's why this topic matters. If you don't learn from your mistakes, life keeps sending you the same lesson in different forms. The details change, but the pattern stays the same. Let's look at 3 reasons why this happens. The first reason is that people focus on the result instead of the process. Imagine someone starts a business and it fails. They immediately conclude that the idea was bad. But was it really? Maybe the idea was fine. Maybe the marketing was weak. Maybe they gave up too early. Maybe they ignored customer feedback. When we only look at the final result, we miss the deeper causes. I once heard about a salesperson who lost an important client. He was convinced the client simply wasn't interested. Months later, he listened to a recording of the conversation and realized something surprising. He had spent almost the entire meeting talking and barely asked any questions. The problem wasn't the client. The problem was the process. People who learn from mistakes don't just ask, "Did I win or lose?" They ask, "What exactly happened, step by step?" That's where the valuable information is. The second reason is that people confuse explanations with excuses. There is a big difference between understanding a mistake and avoiding responsibility for it. Let's say you arrive late to work. An explanation might be, "I left the house too late because I didn't plan my morning well." An excuse might be, "The traffic was terrible." Notice the difference. The explanation gives you something you can change. The excuse puts all the power somewhere else. Excuses feel good in the short term because they reduce discomfort. Nobody enjoys admitting they made a poor decision. But excuses have a hidden cost. They stop learning. Think about someone who constantly struggles with money. Every month they blame bad luck, the economy, or other people. Maybe some of those factors are real. But if they never examine their own habits, nothing changes. The people who improve fastest are often the ones who are willing to ask uncomfortable questions. Could I have handled that better? What part of this problem belongs to me? What can I do differently next time? Those questions are not always pleasant. But they are powerful. The third reason is that people don't reflect long enough. Many mistakes happen, create strong emotions, and then disappear from memory. A bad presentation at work. An argument with a friend. A failed goal at the gym. People feel disappointed for a day or two and then move on. The problem is that reflection requires time. Consider a basketball player who misses an important shot. Great players don't simply forget about it. They study it. They watch recordings. They analyze their position, timing, and technique. The same principle applies to everyday life. After a mistake, many people ask, "How do I stop feeling bad?" A better question is, "What is this experience trying to teach me?" One question focuses on escaping discomfort. The other focuses on growth. And growth usually requires a little discomfort. Now, here's the good news. You don't need a perfect memory or a genius-level IQ to learn from mistakes. You just need a simple habit. The next time something goes wrong, don't rush past it. Take 5 minutes and ask yourself 3 questions. What happened? Why did it happen? What will I do differently next time? That's it. Write your answers down if possible. Keep them short. The goal is not to create a detailed report. The goal is to capture the lesson before your brain starts making excuses or forgetting important details. Over time, you'll notice something interesting. The same mistakes will appear less often. Not because you've become perfect, but because you've become more aware. Awareness is where change begins. The people who grow the most are not the people who fail the least. They're the people who pay attention. They treat mistakes as information instead of personal attacks. They stay curious instead of defensive. So the next time you make a mistake, don't waste it. Every error contains a lesson. Every setback contains a clue. Every failure gives you a chance to see something you couldn't see before. And if you're willing to look honestly, even your worst mistakes can become some of your best teachers. Thanks for listening. Until next time, remember that progress doesn't come from being right all the time. It comes from being willing to learn when you're wrong.